So here's the one I want to tell you about, my story. When we had our media company, and I had it for like 16 years, we would rent a place on Alness. You know where Alness is?
Yep.
Yeah? Close to Steeles. Don't you know where Alness is? So we would rent an office unit on Alness.
Oh, Alness.
Alness.
You're saying Alness. I'm like, what the heck's an Alness?
So how do you pronounce it?
Alness.
Alness. Sorry guys, Alness.
Yes.
So true story. Did you work out of that office?
Yes.
So we had an office unit and then we grew. So I had to take another office unit and then we grew. I had to take another office unit. I'm like, okay, enough with this.
Mm.
You know, I don't want to pay so much rent. So I said, okay, enough, I'm going to buy. And everybody was against it. The employees and this, we're not moving, we're not driving, we're not this. I said, I don't care. I decided. I'm going to buy it. So I went looking and I found this property on Kiel, not far from here. 2 commercial industrial units in Concord, rental, and you know where it is? Close to Langstaff,
Killing stuff.
8600 Q. And who's been to that office?
I think I've been there. Is that what you used to do?
Yeah. I ran my media business. So I bought it and I made an offer, got accepted, and then they called me up. They say, sorry, deal is dead. What do you mean? The guy owes CRA too much money. He can't make the sale. It's got to be done through a power of sale. Are you serious? I said, yes. Okay. So I was upset about that. And I kept looking, and then they called me back after 3 months. They said, okay, now it's power of sale. You still interested? I said, sure, yeah, reduce the price.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, forget it. You pay the same price. I said, fine, I'll pay the same price. I tried. Pay the same price. Fine, I paid the same price. Got the units, renovated them for my use, nice offices. I don't know if you remember. Nice offices, sales team, and this, and call center. Great property, and it started operating out of that place. Now look at the numbers. One thing before the numbers.
Don't look at this.
No, this is something that is good for you to know. You probably know. Some of you probably know it. Okay. So when you have an operating company, right? Because we had a media business which is operating, right? And now it has a new office. You don't really want the operating company to be the landlord, okay? So what you do is you create a holding company, okay, that purchases the real estate, that owns the building, and your operating company is the tenant.
Yep.
It's really you. But it's not you. But you know you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? So this is good. You know you're going to get paid. And I paid myself the mortgage. I made sure that I'm paying the mortgage. I didn't make money, but I knew the mortgage was covered. It's my father went like this. I said to him, what do you think of this deal? He said, it's a locked deal. It's a done deal. That's what he said. I remember going like this. You know, it's like it's a strong deal. So, check out this deal. Purchased in 2010 for $405,000. Okay? Took a mortgage from a B lender. $300,000, 80%, yeah? Or 75%. I had to put $105 down, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But we had to renovate to make it suitable for us. I put another $100,000. I'm invested $205 in this property, yes? Owner occupied. Remember I told you? Owner occupied. If you have a business and you haven't bought your office or your space, you better buy it. There's no reason why you don't buy it. You should buy your business. It's number one. The first thing you want to do. Because you're going to make money on the real estate, you're going to make money on the business, and usually you make more money on the real estate than on the business. Instead of paying somebody else's rent. Okay? Coming back to this. So we put 105 down, we put another 100 into the renovation. 4 years went by, I called the bank, same bank, I said, hey, it's now worth not 405, it's worth 460. Let's refinance. Give me more money. They said, okay. They gave me $400,000 in the new mortgage. I paid back the old mortgage, and I was left with $125,000, right? Okay, so the amount I'm invested in this property went down by 125. I'm only in for $80,000. Pretty cool. And remember, the mortgage is higher, but it's not too bad. I'm paying the rent, so I can raise the rent. And 4 years went by again. I called the bank again. I said, hey, same bank. It's not worth $800,000. Give me more money. I need money for the rent business, whatever. More real estate. You don't tell them more real estate. Tell them I need money for the business. They gave me $560 this time. I paid back the $360 that I was owing. See how it went down from $400 to $360 over 4 years. And I was left with $200,000 in my pocket. And you don't pay tax on that because it's not really income. It's just loans. $200,000. I'm up $120,000. I have this property paid already. $0 in the property. I actually have $120,000 in my pocket ready to buy something else. Yeah, years go by. I sold the business. Sometimes you sell the business. And I leased it. Now the property was worth $1 million. And I'm still $120,000 ahead. By the way, this is making money. Why? Because it's invested in another property. But that's too complicated. Let's keep it simple, okay? I've leased it and I have a little cash flow. I'm not the tenant anymore. I have an actual tenant. So I'm making a little money, a few $100s a month. And then it goes up, keeps going up. A new tenant comes in, he says, I want a drive-in door. I said, fine, you're gonna get it. I went to the city, headache, remember headache equals value? I put in a nice drive-in door, because we had a small door. No, I want trucks, sure. I put in $25,000, permits, schmermits. I put in a drive-in door, and what is that? Remember this? That's this, right? Internal. Internal appreciation. Great feature. I'm so happy he forced me to put a drive-in door. So I put $25,000 inside. My money is reduced, right, by 25. So I'm $95,000 ahead. And guess what happened? COVID came along. And with COVID, the only thing that, not the only one, but it's one category that survived it very well was this one, because everybody was doing business logistics, right? You know, right? Logistics, packing, schmacking, shipping in and out, Amazon. This is a great category that went up. I'm like, okay, I'm only making like $300, $400 a month. Meanwhile, I got all this money in the property. Okay, I never planned to sell. I don't want to sell unless I have a good reason, but this is a good reason. So I thought it was worth $1.5 million. Went on the market, few months here, few months there. Buyer comes along. I sold it for 1.45. 1.45. I paid back the mortgage. The left was $950,000 after paying back the mortgage plus the 95. I'm up $1,000+. Okay, a little costs, closing costs. $1 million profits before tax. $1 million profits. Wow, isn't that amazing?
Capital gain, no?
Get a good accountant, he'll get you off. Not entirely off, but you won't pay 25%.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at this. Okay, it took 13 years. But you made $1 million. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't too difficult either. Okay, the appreciation of the price, it went up by 20%. The price went up by 20%. And really, I had no money in, so you can't really say cash on cash, but it made me $80,000 a year. Just by being there. So that's a good investment, if you ask me, I think. I was very happy to sell that. I mean, I had a hard time selling, because we get emotionally attached to our real estate, which is stupid, but we do. I had a hard time selling, but a really hard time selling. But it ended up okay. And you know what? There's more to life than real estate. There's more to life than real estate.
Knowing you were thinking it's going to go up. That's why you didn't sell it.
But
If you waited.
one of the biggest challenges that we have in life, this is referring, is to know when to say, you know what, this is enough.
Yeah.
When to stop. You know what? This is decent. Let's stop here. That's the big challenge. Oh, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Actually, you know what? I have better use for this money. I have better use for this money. Let's invest in other things. Okay, quickly, this is how are we doing for time? Badly. Okay. Risk tolerance, very little risk, only the vacancy is a bit of a risk. Investment complexity, not complicated, very cheap. Remember, you can buy one for $600,000. You can buy one, small one. $1,000, 1,000 square feet. You can buy one $600,000. Cheap. Hands off. You don't need to do much unless you want to. Return on investment takes a while. You have to make it appreciate. You have to give it time to appreciate. Investment time frame. I'd say between 8 to 10 years you can get out. And owner occupied is like the best reason why to buy that. If you have a business and you have and you need storage or logistics, you gotta buy this. I don't see why you want to pay somebody else.